Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Bitcoin Technical Analysis with Bitcoin Gorilla. Now, this video is the update on my video that I made, and I said that Bitcoin is likely going to go to 30k, and a lot of people will not see it. I made this analysis while Bitcoin was still struggling around 68k, right? 69k, and so when we got to this all-time high, I said, get ready, you better take some profit because this dump it go choke. And of course, we are still not being able to recover, and I'm here to update you on what is the move. Are we still going down, or are we still going to recover? Are we going to see a bounce? Because in that video I talked about we seeing a bounce before we get to that 30k. Is that bounce still possible? Well, let's find out. I remember Bitcoin Gorilla. Remember, this analysis, no indicators are allowed. I do not like indicators, and I'm not going to use them. And if you're new to technical analysis, please let your mind be at rest, because I'll be drawing my chart from scratch. In fact, I will take away every drawing in this chart because I want to carry you along, because I'll be drawing every line, explaining to you why a lot of things are happening in the market, breaking down these things that so many of us technical analysts ignore. And I will tell you, no indicators are allowed. I'll be using a very funny strategy you might not be used to, that is called the Bitcoin Gorilla strategy, box strategy. I developed this strategy, so it's also a price action that is the basis of the strategy. I will be explaining it to you. Now, if you watch my video while Bitcoin was still at that 30k, I made a point about a bounce, but we've not been able to get that bounce. Now, the first thing I want to get is my support and resistance. This is my resistance and this is my support. Now, the all-time high Bitcoin has seen is around 69k, around that range, 8k to 69k, approximately 7k on futures, right? This is the highest the price has ever seen, and the lowest the price has ever seen is around $3,000, right? Approximately as well. Now, having this range in the back of our mind, why did I talk about this range first? Because these are the major all-time supply and demand zone, and this is also known as the all-time resistance and all-time support. Right now, all-time support, now support itself is defined as the area on your chart where price get to and price could not move down any longer. Now, support are always found when price is moving down. Is one thing to take note of, that it is always found when price is on the downside. That is a point, an area that leads to a stalemate, a pause, a sideways movement. Either after that the price continues to move down, or if the demand rises, it continues to rise and change direction and reverse the trend, right? So this is how this has happened right here, right? You can see price was on the downside, but got to this support, couldn't move any longer. It stalled and went pause for a moment, and then there was rising demand, price changed direction, but obviously you can see there was another push down, which tells you there was something that stopped it from going up, and it returned, and again something again stopped it from going down the same area. There's no coincidence, and then it reversed and start going up. To those areas when it's going down and it couldn't move further down are known as support. A simple English is demand area. They are demand area. Like when you're falling, something supports you and stop you from falling. It's just a layman English for that matter. So now that we know what support is, then what about resistance? Well, resistance are opposite of support. These are areas on your chart when price is going up. Opposite, when price is going down is support, when price is going up is resistance. So when this price is going up, this price tend to get to some certain area and they couldn't move further up, and they are forced to stop. A good example is right here, right here, right here, right here. So something is stopping this price from moving further up, and this thing that is stopping it will cause a pause, a sideways movement, like an equilibrium between buyers and sellers. And this indecision is what is known as a pause in the market. So this movement could lead to either the price continuing the move up or continuing the move down. So in this situation here, it couldn't continue the move up and it has to go down, right? The same thing here, it couldn't continue and it returned down. But what about in the situation about here, right? So let me zoom out so that you see that. So you can see there was a pause. There was a pause right here, but then the pause didn't last for long, just a couple of weeks because this is weekly chart, and then move up. Now the same thing happened. There was a pause here, there's a push down, and then the move continue because what, there was enough demand to keep the move moving to the upside. But that point where it stops is known as resistance, and those point is what is known, also known as supply area. Now I know the law of demand and supply in normal economics talks about that when price is going up, that the manufacturers will supply to the market, leading price to be saturated and then start going down, right? Because when they try to make more money, when there's more demand and price start rising, they try to supply more. But hello, that's not the case with crypto, and I wanted to clear this point. A lot of people wonder why price dump, why price keeps moving, and a lot of things they think is like magic. No, it's not magic. Now in terms of crypto, there is nothing like the manufacturing supplying more coin. There is already a total supply that can never be exceeded in terms of Bitcoin, and that total supply is about 18.920 point, let's say 18.92 approximately billion million coins. 18.92 million coin, that is approximated, and the maximum supply is around 21 million. So you already see that this is what is cannot be exceeded. There's no magic about it. So for that case, nobody is supplying from money, BTC from anywhere. But then you ask me, if nobody is supplying, why is there price dump? Because there's actually already a coin in circulation, and the current circulatory supply is around 18.92 million approximately, right? This is, it's like we've almost exhausted the total supply. This is what is in the in the circulation already. But remember, the maximum supply is around 21 million. So we have exceeded a lot of Bitcoin is already in circulation. So what happens when people decided to sell what they are holding? What happens when people decided to take profit from their market? Now, this is what causes these supply zones. When people take profit, when people decide to sell, when people decide for some reason they do not want to hold Bitcoin any longer and they want to get some money out of it. Of course, a lot of people will take profit, but understanding where these supply zones are very important. So now what I'm going to do is, I've gotten them, you get them. That is why as I was explaining, I have gotten the support and resistance, my supply and demand zone. Now this analysis is weekly chart, and I keep saying that when I made that chart, when I made the analysis on Bitcoin going to 30K, I told you guys it's weekly chart. You gotta be patient. You have to be patient with this market, especially with the sideways market that is holding Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is just trying to break out of. And the question is, how far are we going? So I'm going to continue. This is the Bitcoin Gorilla strategy I'm bringing in now. So I'm going to get the support and resistance of the box. Remember, the main major basis of price action is support and resistance, supply and demand. So that is our support for the box, and this is our resistance. Okay, now that we got that and we know what support and resistance is, I can tell you that quite all right, Bitcoin, I can get a special box for Bitcoin here, right here. And I want to treat these two boxes like two different identity. But these two different, like, let's treat it like twins inside their mother womb, like a twin baby. So that's how we're going to treat this next one. So the first twin is this box. So the biggest box is this particular one. I will tell you a story. It's about the story. You will understand what is happening here. So this is the biggest boss. That was the first boss I drew, but I just drew another one right here. Right, this is it. So this one that I just drew, this is the resistance area of it, and this is the support area of it, right? So you know that the baby, this is the support, and this is the support and the resistance. But the bigger box, which is the first box, this is the resistance of that box, and this is still the support of it. So there's something between, there's a connection between this support and resistance. So now that we've taken note of that, I am going to go ahead and tell you there's another box inside the bigger box. That's why I said there's twin inside the box. Taking my time to explain this analysis in a very simple language that you're going to understand. So this is the second box, and I'll tell you, I'll also get the support and resistance. The support and resistance. I'm very interested in the support and resistance of the box. And I think it's a bit extended. All right, right there. So let's take a different color for this. Right. So I'm also going to get the resistance of this box. So this is the resistance of the box. So now that I've gotten this, I think you can see that this drawing is on weekly. Now I'm going to try to bring in trend lines, right? So the first trend line, the trend lines, what I need is a minimum of 2 touches, a minimum of 2 touches on the trend line. This analysis is being conducted using two tools: the rectangular tools, that's what I used to draw my box, and the trend lines. That's what I got, this horizontal trend line and the slanting trend line. So this is the trend line, and I can tell you there are minimum of 2 touches. There's one right here, there's another one right here. Two good touch. I'm good with that. But again, this is weekly chart. I can tell you that there's a clear trend line that is developing right here that has already gotten 2 touches, which is 1 and 2. Now the reason why I draw that line, if we go to daily chart, you're going to see where that line is actually functioning. You can see that on daily chart, this is what the chart looks like on daily chart. So you see that the price of where price is, there is a gap. So first of all, price, we have to meet this line first before being able to meet this one. That is why I had to consider drawing that line. So price will meet this line before meeting this line. But a very important area not to ignore is this particular range. Is this range, this point. So from this point to this point is a point of possible change of direction. Right. Now, in my analysis, I call 30K. That 30K is right this point. That is the 30K point. What is important about this 30K zone is that this is my area, right? This is my area of support, which means this is demand area. Now, I am not also ignoring that there is a bit of drama that has taken place in the past right here. And it's no coincidence that our line tend to coincide with that same line, this white line, telling me that this area is also an area of importance, which is around the 41K range to 42K range, all the way to the 40K range. I like giving it a range. You can see that there's a point, they steep like this, but I don't want to draw any line there, but just take note of it. And there's no coincidence, this is the middle of my box. This is the middle of my box, right? So at the middle of my box, there is a little drama happening. Now, here's what I see. Now it is looking very obviously the way price is currently moving. Bitcoin has seen already 44K, and that they are likely to retest this 42K range to 40K range, that they are likely to see. Now, if they are strong enough around 38K, if they could go further, maybe they could decide to make a double bottom with this. They could stop around 38K. But seriously, I will tell you that the chances are high that they will get down to this point, around 36K. And if we are not careful, if they will first of all react here. This is a demand zone, but it is a mini demand zone, more like a 4 hours chart talk here. If you're talking about intraday, this is the 4 hours reaction zone, right? So this is the 4 hours point where we will say that there could be a bounce, a mini bounce. Now, if the demand in this point is high, we could get price return to this point, to this 52K, right? But it could also go like this. I do see this one playing out though. So if it's either this 40K range stop them, and if they can't done, we could see 38K to 36K range. Right? 38K to 36K range should now give them the strength to go back up. Why did I consider this? Now, as a price action trader, my line is as important as my box. Now, my box is calling for me 38K, 36K. That is what the box is currently calling. This box strategy is calling 36K to 38K. But the trend line is calling that we could get a mini bounce, and I like keeping things into consideration. But if the pressure, because what we are seeing reaction here is the reaction of this supply zone. Remember, this is our resistance. So the reaction of the supply zone, this is the resistance of the smaller box, and this is the resistance of the bigger box that caused the biggest rejection, right? This was what I saw before I called the 30K move, because the 30K move was me knowing that once they enter into my box, once they leave my box and return and enter into it and break, once they enter into it, I will expect them to get to the bottom of it. That's my box law. Now, if you want to learn how to trade this box and you want to learn this secret strategy, you can come and join MAKAVELI Trader. It's a family of crypto trader. It is also a registered company. You can come and trade with me for a lifetime. This is a family. This is a community where you are going to get 3 months intensive training on how my strategy work, and also understand price action. You're going to be able to become a pro in reading chart, and not just become a pro, you're going to understand candlesticks, you're going to understand price action, you're going to understand trading psychology and how to manage risk. This is a game of the mind. You need to learn how to control your mind. You need to learn patience. You need to learn a lot of things. And hello, I trade 125x, and I'm a high leverage trader, and I am not hiding it. I share this trade with my student. We trade it together. These are results you're seeing, and you yourself are going to trade with me. I am not hiding it. You can come and see it live. When you come into the family, I give you 3 months intensive training, because I have rules and regulation that drives this. Especially this box strategy has a lot of rules that I see. Like, I know what I see before, why Bitcoin was still around the range of 68K before I predicted 30K, and that is going to come to pass soon than you think. But first of all, we could get a move that will reverse. Now, if the move reverse up, right, to this point, if the move reverse up to this point, we could see Bitcoin seeing 60K again. But I don't know how possible is that. But the point where I see that demand rise is 38K. If we can get 38K, it's going to be a good demand that could rise price to that 60K again. How long we're going to get that move, I don't know, depending on this supply, because this supply keeps growing. But I hope this mini support can give us a bounce. If we can't get a bounce from this mini support of 40K to 42K range, then expect 38K next. From 38K, they should be able to start getting strength for a bounce. They could be moving like this, right? But once it gets to 38K, they will get a move to the upside, right? A move to the upside. So what this does is there will be a clear stop loss hunt. It will be a move by the market maker. If we get to 38K, then know that market makers are in play. How? Market makers are trying to clear the stop losses of everybody here and everybody here, and that will give them strength to make a move up to go back to probably 60K or 62K or 58K, that range, because all this range are supply zones. So they will get a strong attack around 62K, and that will even form a head and shoulder, right? Look at it. Two shoulders, and this will be a head, and then we'll have another shoulder right here, which will cause the dive to my 30K. So I do see a bounce coming, but this bounce is going to have a lot of drama, because market makers should clear all these people right here who have stop losses here and dive to get to my support around 38K to 36K range, and then we have a move that will get that bounce. But if you are stuck in the market, I think a patience is needed, because we could still see that bounce. If you like my strategy, come to MAKAVELI Traders. Come and learn with me. It's a lifetime access. I'm not interested in what money you make after you join MAKAVELI Trader. It is yours to keep. I will teach you everything I know, because every day I'm growing. This is why I make it a lifetime access. Man, I gotta put the name on. I just have To tell you the truth, I have three types of membership: sport membership, futures, and staking. If you are interested, access is opening, but it's limited access and it's closing by 20, just in 22 days time. You don't want to miss it. It's limited access. Don't come and you hear that, sorry, we are closed. You can join me now. I'm going to teach you for 3 months, and not just that, you're going to get access to trading